Good evening and welcome to another episode of Authentically You. I am Anna, the Black Pants Girl, because I'm legitimately wearing them right now. And I'll be introducing you tonight to another amazing person living their own truth. And I can't say enough about her. I think her smile lights up a room. And I told her that recently on a Facebook post. There is a bright brilliance to it. And I have seen her, I would say, grow into a even more bolder woman, but she's shrank into an even more bolder woman. And we might talk about that a little bit today as well.
Sure.
Um, so we're going to connect tonight, and I invite you to connect and have you meet tonight's guest. I introduce you to Mary Gesford. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Now, Mary is just total fun, and I love her to death. And so we're going to jump right in, my dear, if you're all right with that.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So, Mary, where does the story of you begin? And where are you from originally? And do you feel that all of that kind of shaped who you have become?
Yes. Of course. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I was born and raised in Memphis. And when I was 18, I moved away. I moved to Texas. And that's where I met my husband that I had for 27 years.
Oh, wow.
A real cowboy.
Oh, wow.
But yeah. So I'm originally from West Tennessee. I've been in Knoxville now for 10 years.
Oh, wow. So it's only been 10. You feel like a Knoxville native. You know your way around this town really good, my dear. So I thought you had been here so much longer.
No.
So being from Memphis, first of all, a couple of things. It is hot there.
Yes.
Like it's hotter on that side of the state than it is on this side of the state.
Yes.
Okay.
And tornadoes. Oh my God. That is, if you were to ask me that is one of my passwords on my work profile. What is one thing that you are most afraid of? Tornadoes.
Yeah.
I mean, in West Tennessee, they are more prominent than they are here in East Tennessee. And I've seen so much destruction from tornadoes.
Sure. Yeah.
And it just scares me. It really, really scares me. Tornadoes do.
The thing is I never actually experienced one until I lived in Nashville for a little bit of time, and they get them there more than we get warnings or anything here. And I just remember the first warning. I was in the bathtub with what was it? A mattress folded over on the thing. And Jim, the second husband, says to me, "It's all the way in, like, it's not even close, Anna." I was like, I don't know. I'm just prepared. I got to be prepared.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah, I'm
tornadoes.
Sure
yeah.
Well, and I guess you guys got them more out in Memphis because it's a much flatter area.
That's it. So, yes.
You get them. There's nothing for them to hit to stop.
Right. The mountains don't prepare you. Don't
shield you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shield you. That's
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just flat, and here they come, and
oh, I'm sure. Well, I can imagine that's definitely scary. So what age were you when you actually went to Texas?
I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Is it hotter in Texas?
It's about the same. Okay. Well, I was in East Texas. East Texas, like maybe a couple of 100 miles from Texarkana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, the climate's about the same. They may have a few degrees of higher temperature.
Yeah.
But not a lot.
Okay.
I mean, not a lot. I talk to my ex-husband every day.
Wow.
And I'll ask him, like, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, "What's your temperature like?"
Right.
And he's like, "It's 72." And I'm like, "Well, it's 69 here." So,
right.
It's pretty similar.
Okay. Is so you were in Texas for quite a while then.
10 years.
Okay.
10 years.
Wow.
From 1982 to 1992.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you move back to Memphis and then
Yes.
over to
Well, just north of Memphis, Tipton
Okay.
and Lauderdale County. They're north of Memphis. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that so you have been in only so you have lived in only T named states.
No.
You've not lived in only T named states.
No.
Really?
My mother and my father, they got a divorce when I was 6.
Okay.
From the time I was born until I was 6, I lived in Nebraska, Arkansas, Texas,
Wow.
Mississippi. Yeah. So
That's a
no.
lot of different places during those years.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a few years and a lot of different places. That's
now,
right.
do you remember any of that, or you do?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
I have memories from when I was like 3 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, don't. Like
My sister is the same. I will
don't.
say, don't you remember such and such? And she's younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, I don't remember that. And I'm like, what?
You're
How
like,
can you not?
were
How can
there.
you not remember that? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh wow.
No, I have really good memory. Yeah, early
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Oh, nothing wrong with that at all, my dear. So I know a lot about the chosen path that you have decided to walk as a person and as a professional. And if you will, tell the people who don't know who you are or what you do a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I don't mind at all because I'm very proud.
You should.
I dropped out of school in the 8th grade. I was pregnant. I was 14 years old.
Wow.
And my mother was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So the school back in the olden days, because I am quite ancient,
No.
the school back then, they did not allow pregnant girls to go to school.
Oh, wow.
No,
Okay.
they did not.
So you didn't even have an option.
No, well, the option was could do homebound.
Okay.
So I could have a homebound teacher. I could continue my education that way.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to embarrass the rest of the school.
Oh, okay.
You know, be a bad influence on the rest of the school.
Right. Gotcha.
But since my mother was an alcoholic, she couldn't do what needed to be done to
she didn't follow
get
through
things
on what
together. Yeah.
I gotcha.
So it was my second year in the 8th grade because the first year I had skipped so many classes because I was just, I don't know,
being an 8th grader.
Yeah, doing stuff with boys that I shouldn't have been doing, you know.
Right.
And that's how I got pregnant.
Right.
But
is that how you got pregnant?
That's it.
Okay.
So I ended up dropping out because the other option was I could go back after I had the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But again, my mother was an alcoholic.
Right.
I couldn't leave my baby with her.
Right. Sure.
So what was I going to do?
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't. The only thing I could do was tell people I was 18 when I was only 15 so that I could work and provide for him.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to raise him in the same environment that I was raised in.
Sure. And I can totally understand that. So.
And then I waited like 6 years before I met the husband.
Mm-hmm.
I did not marry my son's father.
That's
But I
okay.
met another man
Mm-hmm.
several years later, and we married, and we were married for 27 years, and I had
Wow.
3 other children.
Wow.
So yeah, it was great. It was
Yeah,
good. I went back
absolutely.
and got my GED when I was probably 27.
Good for you.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
say that that's harder than just graduating.
it was.
Yes.
However, I was thrilled. The lady that was doing the GED classes at night,
Hmm.
she was a sixth grade English teacher.
Oh, wow.
And we did the pretest,
Hmm.
and we turned it all in. And she kept me after class and she said, Mary, she said, I would like to ask you, what grade did you say you dropped out in? And I told her the eighth grade.
Hmm.
And she said, I find that really hard to believe. She
Hmm.
said, because you are at college level on everything
Wow.
except math.
Oh, wow.
It's because she said, how do you think you've managed that?
Hmm.
I said, because I love to read.
Yeah. That's a
Reading.
that's a
I
big
I
part.
read. I read everything. I read true story, magazine articles,
Hmm.
the Bible. I mean, I read everything because I
Hmm.
had nothing else to do. So I
Right.
read,
Yeah.
and she said, I wish you would come tell that to my sixth grade English class.
Honestly, that's a big truth because it gets you further along. You don't
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
it does. Yeah.
So in 1998, I was sitting at the food stamp office
Hmm.
and I saw a flyer on the wall or whatever, and it said, you might can go to college
Hmm.
and get your books paid for and childcare and all this kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like, at that point in my life, I was probably 30 or
Hmm.
maybe a little older than 30. I did not even know if someone with a GED could go to college.
Wow.
I
Sure.
didn't know.
Right.
So I decided to call the number.
Hmm.
And I called because I always loved to learn. I
Yeah.
loved education. I loved reading. I loved learning.
Hmm.
And and they said, yes, come in and take the college entrance exam.
Hmm.
So I did. And the only thing I had to do was to take remedial math,
Wow.
intermediate and beginners, and intermediate algebra. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
because
so sorry because I hated
I had
that.
no idea how to do algebra. I was
I
like,
I still
why
don't
are there
know.
X and why are there letters in these math problems?
Yeah,
That makes
that's
no sense to
yeah,
me.
I wasn't crazy about that shift either. When we started putting English in with numerals, I was like, no,
Right.
no,
No, that doesn't work for me.
right. I'm right there with you. So you did your entrance exam. You just had to take some remedial math, which I actually had to take something similar because my grades weren't that great in high school.
Right.
And what did you actually go to school for?
I went to school for social work
Hmm.
because of I think, my past
Hmm.
and what I had to deal with growing up.
Sure.
Um, I was in therapy for a
Hmm.
while,
Hmm.
mental health counseling, and I
Yeah.
am an advocate for mental health. I suffer from clinical depression,
Hmm.
and I was in therapy for about 3 years,
Hmm.
and I just adored my therapist, and I just thought she was everything.
Yeah.
She was so smart and so caring and so kind. And I thought, I was in college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I
Right.
thought, I want to do what you do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I went for social work. Yeah,
Wow. So
yeah.
would you say that having the experience of going through therapy um was one of your aha moments on this journey, like that you
Yes,
all of a sudden a light bulb went on and you thought to yourself, this is really what I want to do with the rest of my life?
yes,
Wow.
yes, most definitely. Um, That's exactly right. I got my undergrad in social work.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went, and my first job was with Department of Children Services.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had um, an intern program or a stipend program that if you agreed to work for them for 2 years, they
Mm-hmm.
would pay for your master's degree.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So now I have a master's degree in social work.
Wow,
So, yeah,
that's amazing. And this
that
is,
is probably the thing I'm the most proud of
well,
is my education and my job. I have been with the state of Tennessee now for 17 years.
oh, wow,
So,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And you have, I'll be very honest with you, knowing you personally and never being your client, there are traits about you that I think are perfect for like being a therapist.
Mhm.
Because as you know, I also have my degree in psych as well and also suffer from major depression. Mine has a gigantic dose of anxiety that goes along with it.
Well, here in the past 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
I have developed anxiety. I think because of COVID
Sure.
and all of that.
Well, yeah, it's caused a lot of people to actually have some exacerbated symptoms or maybe not realize that they had some unchecked anxiety that now has
Right.
flared up a
You
little
know,
bit.
I mentioned earlier about the tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, about 6 months ago, Middle Tennessee got hit really
Yeah,
hard,
really
Cookeville
bad.
area,
Mm-hmm.
with tornadoes.
Yeah,
And it was right after that that COVID had me stranded at home.
right.
And I just started having these panic attacks, these anxiety
Mm-hmm.
attacks about not just COVID, but tornadoes. And
Right,
I had to go to my doctor and say, I'm not okay. I
right.
need help.
Yeah,
I can't deal with this every
sure.
day. I can't deal with this. And I think that's perfectly fine for anyone that if you're having trouble, to speak to your doctor or somebody and
Hmm.
let them know that you need help. Don't try to do
Absolutely.
it on your own.
No, and I think a lot of us struggle with that, especially people who maybe were raised to think that asking for help is a sign of
A
weakness,
weakness,
and
right?
it's so
And it
not.
is not. It's a strength. It's a strength to be able to ask for help.
Hmm.
Yes,
Absolutely, I agree with you
most definitely.
100%. And so when I talk about you having the traits that I think would make an amazing therapist, is you have a compassion and a kindness, but you also have this beautiful edge to you that is kind of like, for lack of better words, you can't bullshit me.
That's right. I've been there, done that. I've
Right?
seen it. I've heard it. Don't try it because
Exactly.
I'm not gonna buy it.
Yep. And I think a lot of times when people go into therapy the first time, they, and I'm not saying everybody does this. Some of us are like, we know what we're
Mhm,
there for and we know what the beauty of this process. But sometimes you kind of go in, and it's usually even those of us who've been through therapy, first couple of sessions, you got you like your perfect girl on. Like,
that's it. You
I'm,
got that mask on.
you
Yep,
do. You know,
yep.
it's not as bad as it seems, blah, 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 blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
And then little things start trickling out. And as that connection is created and that therapeutic bond is created, more of the real meat of life comes out.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Hmm. Well, goodness gracious. Um, what you've already mentioned what you consider one of your biggest professional accomplishments is, and I can't agree with you more. I think it's it's someone having the passion to say, even though my life took this different path, and at eighth grade, I thought my education was kind of done at that point. But you decided, no, I want more. I really do. So you go back, you get your education, and then you even double down on that and go get a master's degree.
Yes.
which, being a girl who's gotten her master's degree, it is not
It was
easy.
not easy for me. I'm just going to say, because I was married
Mm-hmm.
and I had a family
Yeah.
and I worked full time,
Wow.
trying to do all of that. I
Whew.
mean, once I got done with my master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
it's been it's been more than 10 years now,
Right.
and I still have a hard time reading a book.
Well,
Simply simply because there was so much required reading
mm-hmm.
for the master's program.
Yeah.
You know, each class required you to do certain readings
Mm-hmm.
and research
Yep.
and all of these things. And I used to love to read.
Right.
And I just got so burnt out on reading
It will do
that,
it for sure.
yeah, I wanted to go on, to be honest, I wanted to go on to law school.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to become a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have it in me. I mean,
And I
I,
understand that.
I just, I after I got my graduate degree,
Mm-hmm.
I just knew,
You're like,
you
I'm
know,
good.
yeah, I don't know if I can do anything else. As much as I love to learn and as much as I love education,
Right.
I just don't know if I could focus and concentrate enough to do that.
I get it.
So,
Speaking, I get it. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to pause for a second because I got a tickle in my throat.
uh-oh.
It's not your fault. But no, okay. I'll put up a technical difficulties thing. Um, but no, for real, I will definitely say, as far as professional accomplishments, it's huge, Mary. A lot of people, when they get to a certain age, and if I hadn't done all of that degree work in my early 20s, I don't know if I would have made it back in my 30s. So I want to commend you for that because,
I feel like it's
wow,
a major accomplishment.
it is.
I mean, I was
And
40
no one
plus.
can take it from you.
That's right. I
No
was
one.
40 plus
Yeah.
when I got my graduate degree.
Wow.
So,
Good for
yeah,
you.
we're not going to say how old I am.
No, that was, 40 plus, just, 40, early 40
Yeah,
plus
it's
a
been a
year or
minute.
so ago. Yeah,
It's
right.
been a minute. Let's
Yeah,
just say it's been a minute.
it's been a minute. We'll go with that.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, quick, is there anything personally that you would reflect on as kind of an accomplishment that you you can sit back kind of now and say, despite everything I've been through and the journey I've taken to get where I am today, I feel like I've done well. Or it could be a work in progress.
Well, I think with my job,
Mhm.
with my social work,
Mhm.
um, I feel like I've come a long way,
Mhm.
and I continue to grow every day.
Right.
Every day I hear new and different stories from
Mhm.
people.
Oh yeah.
And I think as a social worker, that's what helps. I'm the most non-judgmental person that I know,
Mhm.
because I have to be. For one
Right.
thing, I
Yeah.
feel like if I were that judgmental person, how could I help these people?
Right.
You know,
It's like you
the
can't
some of
really
these
be effective. Yeah.
yes, some of the people that I work with on a daily basis have been through way more trauma than I've ever experienced.
Sure.
And I experienced a lot of trauma,
Mhm.
but they've experienced so much more.
Yeah.
So I think for me to be able to be non-judgmental and to listen, be
Mhm.
open-minded and listen to people, um, that is one of the biggest.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Try tapping up to edit.
Oops.
That's,
Siri didn't catch that.
no, I guess not. That
I'm
happens.
sorry.
She's sorry.
That's,
So
we appreciate her.
we're gonna end her. Yeah. So sorry about that.
No, it's no problem. I have my own. She has a different name. Begins with an A. I won't say it because she'll start talking in a second.
Right.
Right.
I had a little girl at the dog park. I took Sparkles to the dog park Sunday. And this little girl came up to me and she says, I can sound like Alexa.
Oh.
I said, oh, you can? And she said, yes. And then she just started like
Talking like her? Oh, wow. You were like, this is a very
I was
interesting
like,
turn of
okay, mommy, where are you? Mommy, the show has too much time on her hands.
Right.
Mommy.
Yeah, absolutely on that one. I would be like, interesting afternoon. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so here's how do I put this? I see. So you've worked for the state for 17 years. Started out in child and, well, I guess Department of Children's Services, which, having worked with both Department of Children's Services and the older population as well, because you're not just dealing with children in Department of Children's Services. It is not an easy job by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and I think that those who go into it have literally the best of intentions and the best hearts to try to help as much as possible. And I think
I agree.
We run up a lot against just different, I don't know if it's policies at times that are roadblocks and frustrations.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but and I think a lot of people who have an awareness of what workers who are working with a state go through is it's more or less trying to navigate a rock climbing wall. You know what I mean? Because you're trying you're trying to find that best outcome for the family, the child, everybody, because you care about everybody in that.
Since now my responsibilities are not with children and families, they're with family members that have had addiction issues, mental health issues, criminal issues.
Right.
And even though I feel like my passion was child and family, I feel like my job now, I'm still helping children and families.
Because would agree with
if
that.
I have a daddy or a mama who is addicted to drugs or alcohol,
right?
If I can get them help, if they can get sober and clean, that's helping that child.
Absolutely.
That's helping that family.
Yeah.
So I love my job. I love my job.
And I think the thing is that it's never a straight line. There's always something you find out that there's part of the family that's maybe not functioning well, and if you help that part of it, then everything else can try to improve.
That's it. Yeah.
And so so even though you may not be with a specific division of the state, you're still doing the work.
That's right.
So I just want to commend you because I know how tough of a job it is. It's not easy by any
It's not easy. It's
No,
definitely not easy.
If you could go back and, let me think here, change one thing, what would you do it given the opportunity?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't feel bad. I don't have I don't have regrets
Mhm.
about having my oldest son,
Sure.
but if I could do it all over again,
Sure.
I would love to have gone through high school.
Mhm.
I never experienced a prom,
Yeah. Sure.
graduation,
Right.
those things like that. Um, and I love school so much. I feel like I could have exceeded and gotten scholarships, and you know, that is the one thing that I would change. That I
Absolutely.
would have kept my legs closed and not gotten pregnant at 14.
Well, yeah, and it's a lot of times that when we think back on things like that, that we're like, well, well, and that's just the way that it is. Like, but like you said, it's not that you have no regrets about it, but
Mm-mm.
you, I guess you mourn the fact that you didn't have some of those rites of passage that a normal teenager does,
Right, right.
and I can understand that for sure. But
You know,
if you were to go back and
but I didn't let it hold me back.
no, you didn't.
No,
No,
I didn't. No,
absolutely not. No,
did
and
not let it hold me back.
no, and I think because I think you just I don't know, you have a persistence and a tenacity about you that I think wouldn't have let you
Right.
just
I'm a fighter.
hold your cards.
I have always been a fighter.
Uh-huh.
I will continue to be a fighter.
Well, I'm
Don't
glad.
don't try to hold me back
I love it.
because I will claw my way out.
And I
That's
love it
just
because
who
I
I am.
understand that. So,
They didn't want me to have pink hair. They did not like my pink hair.
right.
You remember?
I
I
do.
loved my pink hair.
She had
I
pink hair.
loved I loved it so
Right.
much, but since I can't have pink hair, I just,
You find
have a
other
different,
ways to enjoy it.
yes,
Absolutely. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
rebellion.
Absolutely. And you know what? A healthy level of rebellion
Yes,
is what moves life
anarchy at
forward.
its finest.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the last of the major questions, and then we get into my quick fire round, which I love. But if you had an opportunity to go back to a younger you, and obviously you could choose whatever stage and age that younger you would be, to give them some advice, what would you give them? And I ask this, I'll tell you why I ask this question. Because inevitably, this is something that I think all of us need to hear at times. It's not just as simple as what would you tell your younger self. I think all of us go through those experiences or carry with us something that our younger self probably needed to hear at some point, but
I
just,
agree.
yeah, never did.
I agree. And I think don't beat yourself up so much. You know,
Right.
in my younger days, that I did a lot of that. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I mean, there were so many things that I wasn't good enough. And now, in my seasoned years,
Yes. Like a fine
this is
wine. Yes.
this is not the case
Right.
because I am good enough.
Mhm.
I am pretty enough. I am smart enough. You know,
And you always were.
yes, I
Yeah.
was. And
Right.
that's the thing that I was getting at. If I could go back, I would tell my younger self that you are pretty enough. You are smart enough. You do belong. You
Hmm.
know, I never will forget the first time that I walked into, like, I don't know, let's just say Red Lobster, for example.
Hmm.
You know, I felt so out of place. I
Mm.
felt like those people were the people that patron Red Lobster
Hmm.
were so out of my league
Oh, wow.
that I didn't belong there.
Hmm.
And it took years years of me telling myself, you are good enough, you are okay,
Yeah.
you can do this, that I can walk into Ruth's Chris now and like, I belong here. I'm okay
Absolutely.
with this. That's right, you
Mhm.
know? So, yeah.
Well, I think that's really great advice. And I think that all of us as women, I think somewhere in our world struggle with some of that stuff. You know what I mean? Just that which is why I love how the new generation really have taken that you are enough as a kind of rally cry to just say
That's right.
whatever you keep thinking, let me just tell you, you are enough.
You are enough.
Yeah.
That's right. You are okay, just who you are. You are
Exactly.
beautiful. Yes, you are enough. That's right.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, now this is the part I was really excited about with you because Mary is a wild card. I'll just tell you that, everyone. So these are the quick fire round 10 questions. So I want you to
Okay.
look at it kind of like you do when we did free association when you were studying to be a therapist.
Yes.
So whatever first comes to your mind. Um, they originally came up with by Bernard Pivot, who was a French television host, and then James Lipton made them
I
famous.
love him.
I do
Yes.
too,
Yes.
inside the actor studio. So I love them
Yes.
because they tell a lot about somebody without getting
Right.
super deep on.
Yeah.
But actually they're really deep anyway. So are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready.
What is your favorite word?
My favorite word is peace.
Good word. What's your least favorite word?
Hate.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I'm going to say emotionally, and that would be ecstasy, the sound of ecstasy.
Okay, absolutely. It's a very freeing, sort
Mm-hmm.
of unrestrained sound, which
Mm-hmm.
is very nice. What turns you off?
Hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I dislike hate
Yeah.
tremendously.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people can be so hateful and judgmental. Um, yeah, that bothers me a lot, and
Well, understandably.
I don't like it at
Yeah.
all.
No,
Yeah.
understandably so. My favorite question is, what is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
It's the best. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective. You can use it in
And I
anything.
use it a lot.
That's okay. I do
Yeah,
too. It's not a
yeah.
problem. What sound or noise do you love?
Male ecstasy.
Do you
Just
notice a trend here?
gonna
I think
be real.
no, yeah.
I don't like, well, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't like them. I'm just going to say I prefer men who are not quiet.
I understand. You like feedback.
Yes,
I think that that's perfectly acceptable. And I
yes,
think that others that enjoy that also would agree with you. I
yes.
don't know who that person would be, but anyway. What sound or noise do you hate?
Ugh. Mm. Sound or noise that I hate. Can't really. Country music.
So not a country music person.
No,
I got
not at all.
you.
Don't
Okay.
want to cry in my beer. Not at all. No, no, no.
Nope. Well, that would be something that really I can see that you're not a big fond person of country music, so I get that. Now, if you had your choice, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Probably a teacher.
I could so see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I would like to teach others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What job would you never want to do?
I'm sorry.
What job would you never want to do?
Hmm. police officer.
That's a tough job, I'll tell you that.
That is a tough job.
And my other favorite question, which is funny because my two favorite questions are what's your favorite curse word? And then one about God. So, if heaven exists, what would you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I don't believe heaven exists.
That's okay.
I'm not religious.
Nothing wrong with
I'm atheist.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not believe in God or
Mhm.
Satan or heaven or hell.
Right.
So I can't really answer that
No, and
question.
that's a-okay.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing is that it's good to show people what a person who identifies as being atheist still has all the requisite compassion, love,
Yes.
caring. It's not necessarily indicative
That's
of
right.
one
I
person's
don't have to
religion.
be a Christian to care about others.
You really don't.
You know, I
Yeah,
don't. And,
absolutely.
it's just, it, that's where life has taken me.
Hmm.
And that's what I believe.
Yeah,
I
and
believe in
absolutely.
science more than I do religion.
Hmm.
Um, I believe religion has been the cause of more violence and wars than anything.
Sure.
And I believe, like I said earlier, my favorite word is peace.
Hmm.
And I wish the world could be at peace.
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not religious and I don't apologize for
And nor
that.
should you.
Yes,
Yeah, nor should you.
I am completely comfortable and um, I feel like that's where my life has led me and I'm perfectly comfortable where I am now.
Yeah.
And if the world should end tonight or
Hmm.
tomorrow, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
I grew up as a Christian
Hmm.
and I know all of the beliefs and I know all of the sayings.
Hmm.
Well, aren't you afraid you're going to burn in eternal hell
Right.
because you don't accept God or Jesus? No,
Right.
because if God were all loving, how could he damn you to eternal hell?
Sure.
Yeah.
And
So,
I can
yeah.
understand those dichotomies because,
Yeah.
as you know, I went through my graduate degree wanting to actually pursue a chaplaincy for work with hospice,
Hmm.
and walked into graduate school thinking I know exactly what I believe. I'm good. Everything's great. And then I got in there and went, I don't now know what I believe, because it made you really look at things and critically think through it. And
Hmm.
I would definitely say I'm more spiritual than I am at all religious. Not
Yeah.
definitely more spiritual.
And I don't judge
Mm-mm.
others.
No,
I do not judge others because everybody's life is what they make it
of
and
course.
they have lived their own journey.
Hmm.
So, whatever your journey has brought you to,
Hmm.
then so be it.
You
But
know what?
this is where my journey has brought me.
I have to tell you the funniest thing, and I'm going to actually say this and stand by this. Atheists are probably the most non-judgmental and accepting people that I have ever met.
I agree. I
They
mean, I know I am.
really no,
I
and
am.
I was married to one, and
And
I
I know
get it.
several others in the Knoxville community,
Hmm.
and that is true.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so many people paint us as Satanists.
Right. Which is like, no, no.
No,
That's
because
that's its own thing.
that would cause you to believe,
Right.
that's the whole opposite of
Right.
what we believe is we
That's
don't believe, so and I don't think you have to be a Christian to be a good person.
you don't. You don't.
I believe I am a good person
Hmm.
and I do care about others.
Yep.
And I will always continue to care about others.
Of
And
course.
that's just who I am.
And I think that that is a beautiful place to reflect as we come to a close on this. You are a beautiful person. You are 100% enough, a thousand
Yes.
percent enough, and
Yes.
you don't have to jump through whatever
Mm-mm.
hoops are set in front of you to be that.
That's right.
Because in the end, Mary Gesford, you are a phenomenal spirit woman with passion, zest. There's so many things I could say about you, and thank you so much for inspiring me, and being somebody that I can talk to when I'm having my periods of times where I'm not going through such a good time in my life. Your openness and your genuineness have been things that I have appreciated so
I'm
much.
always here for you.
Oh, and I know that. I do. And we've come through our own journey together, and we have a journey still yet to come,
Yes.
because as soon as COVID quiets down, we're having dinners more frequently. You're going to
Yes.
come over and let us treat you. But
Yes.
I just want to thank you for sharing with people a woman who I feel is courageous, who has overcome a lot in her life and gives back so much more than she gets at times. And
Mm-hmm.
those people who give a lot usually are those people. So,
Mm-hmm.
Mary, it's been a blessing to know you. I'm
Thank you.
excited about the rest of our time to know each
Thank you.
other.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me tonight.
I enjoy knowing every aspect of you, Anna.
Well, I appreciate that you do, because there's very
Yes.
few people who get to see all of me.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been another amazing episode of Authentically You. And if I will ask Mary later if she has any links that she wants to share. They will be in the Facebook, not the Facebook, but the YouTube description, if she has anything that she wants to share about different resources she has or things to look into. But
Thank you.
thank you for joining me tonight, and
Thank you.
thank you for connecting.
I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You did great. I